The best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
Yes, it does on a Wednesday. And great to have you all with us for the next 60 minutes. Lots to do on this program. Bob Nightengale will stop by in about 10 minutes. Talk about the 3 newest inductees into the Hall of Fame. They'll go in later in 2025. One that should have been 100%, but there's always one voter out there who for some reason isn't going to, can't let him get to 100%. But we won't spend too much time on that because it's really a waste of time. Instead, we'll talk about the guys that did get in, maybe 1 or 2 that did not as well. Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com will drop by as well. His weekly visit with us. And by us, I mean me and this guy, Vladimir Louissaint. WQAM radio in Miami. He hangs out with us on Wednesdays on the show. All right, Vlad, let me jump right into it. Dan Hurley losing his ever-loving mind again last night. And I got something to say about it. This was Hurley while UConn was busy hanging on to beat Butler by a couple of points. Running up behind a official as a game went to timeout and telling him, "Don't turn your effing back on me." I don't know if he said effing or not. But he said, "Don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in the nation. I'm not making this up." The man said this, and he was asked about it after the game. Listen and watch.
I think TV got you saying something like, "Don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in."
Did I say that? No. Yeah. I mean, I know we I'm going to sound like an here. So, the TV likes me, camera. I bet you I'm going to have the GAs. I'll release it to the media too. What was the game on today? It was on FS1. I just wish they'd put the camera on the other coach more. Obviously, I had a moment with Coach Dad Mata today because he was so far out of the box that I figure I would just go over and have a powwow with him and Pat. But I just wish they would show these other coaches losing their minds at the officials in other Big East games that I'm coaching, where I look going into a timeout when I'm not talking to officials. I see the other coaches as demonstrative as I am. But, the camera, obviously, I've created this for myself. I'm not no victim. But I just wish that they would not have the camera on me 90% of the time, unless they feel like it's driving ratings, and more on Twitter that could put clips of me from a game and say, "Yeah, look how big of a monster he is. He's yelling at a ref again." What a monster.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
I don't even know where to begin, but I'll begin in just a moment after I talk.
I think TV got you saying
Over at Edge Boost. I am always looking for ways to take the sports betting game to the next level. I'm always about finding ways to make my sports betting experience better. And that's exactly why I'm pumped to tell you all about our friends at Edge Boost, the financial platform that pays you cash back to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account that pays you for every deposit. With the Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. That's free money back in your pocket just for doing what you're already doing. It's a no-brainer. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with a $250,000 daily limit and will never be declined for gambling activity. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. So stop leaving money on the table. I signed up for it last week. You can do it in less than 3 minutes. Visit edgeboost.bet to learn more. That's edgeboost.bet. Better yet, just click that QR code below right there. It'll tell you everything you need to do. Edge Boost with us here on SportsWrap. Vlad, listen. First of all, the most prescient thing he said in this whole diatribe after the game, after admitting he said what the reporter said he said, which is still just... But even so, what he said was, I've created this. And that's the biggest point of all this. Don't talk about the fact they're not showing the other head coach. When you are the biggest camera whore, the biggest media whore who always looks for the microphone, if there's an ESPN mic flag on it or an FS1 mic flag on it, you're going to find it. So I don't want to hear you complain about the fact that they're always showing you when you have the most outrageous behavior and you're always looking for the camera. I don't want to hear it. And you're acting like a fool. And if you didn't win basketball games, you'd be coaching some D2 program right now.
And that's the reason why he can talk the way he can talk.
Unbelievable what we will allow.
He's a back-to-back national champion. Okay? And listen, I agree with what you said. Also cognizant of the fact that he created this monster. But it's a two-way relationship. This ain't a one-way relationship. He looks for the cameras, and the cameras look for him. So what he was saying, it was almost as if he was doing a classic 2025 WWE promo, where he acknowledged his fault, but he's also deflecting and blaming others. And it's like, wait a minute. Why, first of all, why are you dry snitching? Why do you want them to look at the other coaches and their behavior when you're the one who's making all the biggest scene?
Dry snitching.
Why are you dry snitching to the other coaches? If the other coaches are doing it, maybe they're doing it in a way that's not eye-opening or having the camera directed towards them. But he didn't lie. That's the one thing I will say. Danny Hurley, it's always himself.
No, he's unapologetically. He is unapologetically himself.
And he didn't lie. It was weird because he took onus for the mistakes, but he was also deflected. And it's like, nah, bro, if you're you might as well fully accept it. Did I say that? Yes, you absolutely know you said that because you absolutely believe that you're the best damn coach in college basketball. You might think you're the best damn basketball coach in the world. Ego. This happens with success and winning, and this is why the media hates. It's the same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, when you win another back-to-back champion, that you're kind of getting sick and tired of anything.
I just hate it, Vlad. I just hate that. You know, there's a classy way to do these things, and it's just
Jason.
I know,
and that might be your way.
It's just it should be the way, but we got to run. Bob Nightengale talks Hall of Fame next. Sports Wrap continues on this Wednesday. We've got new Hall of Famers. The Hall made the calls on Tuesday night. Ichiro Suzuki is in. CC Sabathia is in. Billy Wagner on his 10th and final try is in. One of the guys who helps decide who gets in is this guy, Bob Nightengale from USA Today, their senior MLB writer. Hangs out with us on the show on this Wednesday. So Wagner gets in on his last try. Sabathia gets in right away. Ichiro gets in right away. On the Ichiro thing, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. I don't want to belabor the point about the one person that didn't vote for Ichiro. If we made the vote public, if we forced guys to put their vote out there publicly, is he getting 100%?
Yeah, he would. And so would Jeter, and so would Babe Ruth, so would Hank Aaron, and on and on. So I'm president of baseball writers. We have a thing about trying to push everybody for transparency. But I like the fact that you can keep it private if you want. We're not making every political writer say who they voted for, in the elections. I got some very good friends that don't make theirs public because they don't want all the scrutiny and everything else on social media. So I'm fine with the way it is. I think too much is made of a unanimous vote or not. I mean, like you said, there was nobody unanimous except for Mariano. I mean, how can you justify not voting for Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron or Jackie Robinson and on and on?
Yeah, it's very true. Are you surprised Wagner ultimately got in? I see, because to me, I've always thought he's kind of a borderline guy, and my take on this stuff is If you're borderline, you're not in. It should be a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, I thought it was borderline. I started voting for him, Jason, the last 3-4 years. And the reason I came around, I thought he was light on the innings. The postseason didn't matter to me. He only pitched like 10 innings the postseason.
Yeah.
But when, explained to me by scouts, and they made a great argument that, hey, Billy Wagner was striking out people when people were embarrassed to strike out. 33% of the guys he faced, he struck out. That dawned on me. I mean, that's when guys are really embarrassed. Nowadays guys don't care about striking out. So, and he was a dominant guy. I think there's a drop off between, Trevor Hoffman and of course, Mariano and him. But I think he deserves to be in when you look at everything.
CC Sabathia, to me, a no-brainer. Were you surprised he got in, though, this quickly? Because there's a lot of good pitchers that compiled good numbers over their career that had to wait a long time to get in, Bob.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get in the first ballot all along. I remember having debates with different writers, and they say, no way. I said, no, he's a first ballot. And, I think things that stand out, just the way his character was, such the ultimate teammate. And I think the one thing that really pushed him over, and when he went to Milwaukee in 2008, he's going to be a free agent in a few months, and he pitched on short rest 4 straight times to get the Brewers in the playoffs. Just shows you how unselfish he was, hitting a opposing player on purpose, even though it's going to cost him $500,000 when he played for the Yankees. Just things like that pushed him way over the top.
Carlos Beltran on his third try does not get in at 70%. Did you vote for him?
Yeah, I vote for him every year. He'll get in next year. I think people hold the Houston Ching scandal over him. I think that's unfair. He was just a player. It wasn't like he orchestrated the thing. And, wasn't like he had a great year. So, ultimate teammate, too. People love this guy, playing hard, play the game right. He kind of epitomized a Hall of Famer, unbelievable switch hitter. So, yeah, he'll get in next year, but I vote for him every year.
Is the momentum moving towards Andrew Jones getting in?
Yeah, next year I think I'd be shocked if it's just.
You think he can go from 66? You think he can go from 66 to 75 next year?
I do. I think it's Andrew Jones and Beltran. I really do. The thing about Jones is he hit a wall at the end, and people remember that. But man, those days in Atlanta, 10 Gold Gloves, and he hit a wall. So did Robbie Alomar. You're supposed to hit a wall at the end. Fred McGriff hit a wall. So I think what he did for Atlanta, people forget. Hey, forget about what happened in Dodgers when he got released. He showed up, out of shape and things like that. So if he just retired after Atlanta, he would have been in. So with the Gold Gloves, hey, Scott Rowland got in with all of his defense. Andrew Jones needs to get in with all his defense too.
Real quick, I want to talk about our friends over at Credit Associates. I got more to talk about with Bob Nightengale here in just a moment. But first, let's talk about some of these great Hall of Famers. And we've been talking about CC Sabathia getting in, Ichiro, of course, Billy Wagner. They simply did it all throughout their entire careers. You can do it all right now for your credit card debt. Has it been blocking your financial freedom? It's time to break through. Credit Associates can help you slam down your debt for up to half of what you owe. That's the kind of move you want to see in your financial game. Don't wait another inning. Call 1-800-747-5362 today. See how much you can save. With Credit Associates, when it's time to make a play, they got your back. To see if you qualify for debt relief, call 1-800-747-5362 or visit creditassociates.com or just click that QR link, that QR code right below us. Bob, who are the biggest losers in your mind? Use that term loosely, but who are the biggest losers when you looked at the way the vote went this year?
I don't think there was any big time losers. No real surprises. The guys that didn't get the 5%, probably weren't ever going to get in it anyway. So no one's case just
A-Rod. The A-Rod vote just continues to be stagnant.
I mean, he'll never get in. I mean, hey, if we're not putting Barry Bonds in and Roger Clemens in, why are we going to put A-Rod in?
Yeah,
A-Rod had a year of suspension. That's when I know people start talking about Andy Pettitte. Wait a minute now. Andy Pettitte was in the Mitch report. Andy Pettitte even admitted using HGH. We're not putting Roger Clemens in. We're putting Andy Pettitte in. No.
Who else do you look forward to next year potentially, being in the conversation? Are there any first-time guys that you look at?
No, 0 first-time guys. It's a weak ballot, very weak ballot.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
So it's going to be a weak class.
Ryan Braun.
Yeah, nobody. Nobody jumps out. Braun was interesting, but same thing, the PED suspension. Yeah. So that's why it's going to be a slam dunk for Beltran. And that's why I think Andrew Jones gets in. There's a good chance that nobody in that ballot next year even gets the 5%.
Wow. Yeah, it is kind of a down year as far as the Hall is concerned. Looking forward to seeing Ichiro get in, though, later this summer for sure. Bob Nightengale does a terrific job. Sporting News. USA Today, senior MLB writer over there. I always appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for giving me a few minutes.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jason.
We're coming back. Lots more to do on a Wednesday Sports Wrap. All right, Sports Wrap continues on this Wednesday. Let's do a couple of segments on the NBA as we do each and every Wednesday on the show. That means Kurt Helin is here. You know him from Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Vladimir Louissaint hangs out with us on Wednesdays as well. The triumvirate reunites. Kurt, I got so much to talk about with you. And Vlad's got a few things to say too. What is going on with the Warriors? This thing is a nightmare right now. They got, to use a Vlad word, the first time anybody ever used this, that was Vlad when I worked with him at NBC. They got mollywopped. They got mollywopped by the Celtics the other night. I know Draymond Green didn't play, but I don't think he was making up for the 40 they were getting dusted by. How bad is this going to get? They're not going to make the playoffs, Kurt.
They could miss the play-in entirely, like in a deep enough West. It's real, and their problems are deep. It's like it is Steph Curry, Draymond Green. Actually, as much as you think they're going to miss him for he's out with a strained calf for a week. Like they're going to miss him on defense because he is a quarterback there. He's actually boosting their offense more this year because he's always been a good passer out of that mid-roll. Now that's their secondary offense. They don't have another shot creator. They don't have somebody who can go get buckets. Dennis Schroeder was supposed to be that guy. He has not been. And what's more is this is one of those teams with body language. Like you can tell watching them right now. It's look, they actually were hanging around sort of comfortably with Boston. Curry goes to the bench for his 6-7 minute rest, and it's over by the time he gets back, and or close to it at like 14-1 run, something like that. Boom. And that's how it is every game right now, and they know it, and you can see it in their energy. And this is a team, like, I rarely believe in you got to make a trade just to shake things up. Dude, they got to make some kind of trade to shake things up. They have got to change the energy around this team.
But when you have Curry saying don't make a trade.
Yeah, sir. Curry saying, look, again, we talked about it last week. That was Curry saying don't make some all-in Jimmy Butler move. Deal. Yeah. But I don't know. The problem is, again, I don't know what the smaller move is. Zach LaVine going to solve your problems? Brandon Ingram's going to solve your problem? Like, he gets them another score, it gets them another option, but they're a long way from being where they need to be. They are not one move away. They can get better right now just to change the energy around this team, but it's bad. In fact, Saturday night, I think we get that great showdown between the bad energy Lakers and the bad energy Warriors on national TV. It's going to be great.
Wait, Lakers have bad energy? Why are we saying?
There's a realization around them right now, and if you watch them after they lost the other day, they realize they're okay. They realize they're okay. The way they keep putting it is, we have no margin for error. We can beat anybody when we play a perfect game, but good luck with that. Like, you can doing that night in and night out. They can't get stops. A lot of one-way guys. And LeBron, look, I did not vote LeBron James a starter, all-star starter. I don't think he's one of the 5 best players in the West right now.
Wow.
Like, they're just not those guys. I did vote AD, by the way. So.
Wow. Okay. I'm just thinking about when you said bad energy, I just thought they just realized like who they are. I definitely think the Warriors have bad energy, and there's nothing they can do. And the funny thing is, they were rumored about Jimmy, the trade for the Heat star Jimmy Butler, and that doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But if you watch yesterday's game against the Portland Trail Blazers, Kurt, where Heat star Tyler Hero missed his first game after his birthday, by the way, with a bruised groin. Very, very weird injury after your birthday. But nonetheless, they got handled by the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix made some moves yesterday with Charlotte. They're more of a rush right now that the Heat and the Suns are going to make a deal to get Jimmy out of there, because Jimmy's whole body language these last 3 games since the suspension, it's been kind of nasty work. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not quite Minnesota bad, but it's been like outwardly disruptive, but it's not great, is it? No. Look, what I keep hearing is there's a lot more buzz about, look, this has got to be a 3 or 4 team deal, and that's what that trade yesterday was. That's the classic trade to prelude to another trade, right? Miami gives up their 2031 pick. Good work by Utah, by the way. Like, that pick is going to be, it's way out there. I mean, their 7th graders will be the number 1 pick in that thing if it comes to, but that's going to be a good pick. But it opens things up for Phoenix. They can now throw these picks or their own, which are also like all swap protected. So none of them are great picks, but now you can throw multiple firsts into a deal to try to get, the problem is ultimately finding a home for Bradley Beal. You've got to get some team, Detroit, somebody, to take on Bradley Beal, and they're going to want, what are you going to give them? You've got to give them multiple first-round picks, and you've got to give them something else. Like, you've got to give them enough to get this done. So it's going to be, there's a lot of talk going on. I will say that there's a lot more buzz. Does that lead to something? Vlad, do you think it leads to anything?
Well, I think, it's going to have to lead to something with the team, because I think was starting to find themselves during that West Coast trip, but then right towards those last 5 days when the suspension's about to end, he's going to come back to the team, and there was no resolution made at that time. I thought that thing bad juju was coming, and it did. If you saw that Denver game, the crowd was like very antsy on them, like they didn't know how to cheer or boo. Sunday, they had a great game against Wembanyama and the Spurs, but last night against the Blazers, even without Tyler Hero, you would have thought that they should have been able to win. And this would have been a game where Jimmy could establish himself without Tyler Hero. And
Portland's not trying to win. Like, Portland isn't out there like trying to rack up a bunch of wins right now. They've got athletes, though, and if you play poorly against them, this happens. They also, Miami shot. I watched more of that game than, that's just masochist how much of that game I watched last night. They just could not hit they got good looks and just could not hit.
19 in a row 3-pointers.
Yeah, and where they missed Hero also. Like, they missed his playmaking a lot, but they also just missed somebody who can knock down a shot.
You could have been like me and sitting there asking yourself, what does my life come to watching Philadelphia and Denver, which I'm going to talk about with you here coming up in just a couple of minutes. I mean, I was definitely questioning the meaning of my life watching
they got to get
that
Philadelphia
effort.
out, Paige.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! They've got to start. Yeah, exactly. It's time for the league to start just moving them out for swapping those out for other games, because if Embiid's not there, they're not great when he's there right now.
There is something more. There is something more I want to add about that game as I was watching it last night. We'll do that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Kurt Helin hanging out with us from Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Vlad will return with me as well. I got a question to ask about Nikola Jokic. We'll do it next. On this Wednesday edition of Sports Wrap, we continue the conversation on the NBA. Our man Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com is hanging out with us. I was watching that Sixers, so I watched the doubleheader last night. I actually planted myself in front of the TV last night and watched Knicks Nets on TNT.
Entertaining.
Far more entertaining than I thought it would be. And then I watched
my homeboys playing against the Knicks. That's how the Nets roster looked like. Me and my crew back in the days from Nas played the Knicks yesterday. Did anybody know anybody other than D'Angelo Russell?
No. Actually, it's funny you should say that. Cameron Johnson. But he just came back the other day, so I wasn't too sure if he was going to play or not. Cameron Johnson. Jason Kidd. Sorry. I couldn't resist. So I watched that, and then I hung around because my man Stan Van Gundy was on the call for Sixers Nuggets, so I always support SVG. And I was watching that game. Two things come to mind. One, the lack of effort from the Sixers, just the we don't give a crap mentality out there right now. That is difficult to watch. That's one thing. The other is, what's sort of transpiring here with Nikola Jokic, who I'm watching. And when I watch Jokic right now, guys, I see a Jokic that looks like he's better than anything he's been in his MVP years. Yet I look at the MVP odds, and he's not the MVP candidate.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I would just say, I think you got two things. There is fatigue. There is going to be do we want to give him 4? Like, in the back of voters' minds, I know I'm a voter. It's there. But the other part is, I picked Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the midterm. It is a coin flip between them right now. Jokic is having a monster year. Shai's having a huge year. And so it'll be interesting to see how the second half of this season plays out. But I think there's a sense, I bet if I were in the betting public or making those odds, I should say, I would put SGA first, just because I think there's going to be voters who don't want to give it to Jokic. Not just if it's fatigue, also a great playoff run last year.
And the team is not really playing well.
No.
And the OKC is going to have another second year again where they would be the 1 seed.
Is Denver like Los Angeles in this regard, when they're playing their very best and they're playing that they can beat anybody still?
I think that they are now looking like the second biggest threat in the West. I will throw that Dallas could get there once they get Luka back and get healthy. But right now, if you look at this and you don't believe in Houston, and I love Houston and Memphis, but I think they've got some playoff learning to do. Denver might be the team you least want to face, but they're inconsistent in the regular season. They need Jamal Murray to show up every night. They just got Aaron Gordon back. He's going to show, but like Christian Braun, some of these guys have just got to step up and knock down shots consistently. Peyton Watson. When they get Long Beach's own Peyton Watson, when they get there, when they're rolling, they look good. It's just also that depth, and there's guys you can target in the postseason. We'll see. But would you guys agree? Are they not the biggest threat to OKC?
Boy, that's not saying a lot.
No, I don't even think they are.
Then you're saying Oklahoma City's going to the NBA Finals.
No, I think the biggest threat to OKC is Memphis.
I will say this, Jason. I have pre-booked hotel rooms already for the first week of the finals in three cities, and Oklahoma City is one of them.
Wow.
Listen, I think Memphis could make a move. I think Memphis is a team that could scare Oklahoma City. Denver has the best player in the world. There's some luster with Mike Malone and Jamal Murray and the rest of the team that people don't fear them like they used to.
All right. I want to ask you about Anthony Edwards, but first, a word from our friends real quick. Over at Credit Associates, are you $10,000 or more in credit card debt, in over your head trying to make monthly payments? There's a powerful debt relief program that credit card companies don't want you to know about. Overcome the debt trap of multiple credit cards, high payments, and interest rates that keep you in debt for decades with one affordable low monthly payment. Credit Associates Debt Relief Program. It's Halfuary. They can help you resolve your debt in as little as 24 to 36 months. Don't wait. They can save you thousands of dollars and decades in debt. Find out how much you could save right now. Call 1-800-747-5362. That's 1-800-747-5362, or just click the link below. Tell me something. What is wrong with Anthony Edwards? Because I watched that game against Memphis on MLK Day. And I even texted you. I said, he's not moving without the basketball. He's just kind of standing on the perimeter while the rest of the offense is running. What is going on with Anthony Edwards?
Talk about another team with some bad body language vibes right now. They are a team where when that offense gets stalled out and they're not getting stops and getting out and running, and Anthony Edwards is facing double teams and not finding space to get to the rim like he wants, you get a lot of frustrated Anthony Edwards who starts not doing anything on offense. He's what's the word I'm looking for? He just kind of melds into the background and takes a backseat and doesn't take charge the way you need a alpha number one to do sometimes. I think that's part of his learning process, is that if he's going to be that guy, he's going to have to push this team through some nights. And what you get is every third game, you get a frustrated Anthony Edwards who blows up for 45 or 50.
We got a minute left, Vlad, real quick.
Kurt, can you just say it's the Julius Randle effect? As Knicks fans, Paige and I know this.
There's a meme of Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park walking up to a pile of it. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think it's just a Julius Randle effect. I think he's not gotten over the fact of the continuity he and Cat had, and there's just no continuity right now.
And it messes with the spacing. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's bad.
Who pays the price there ultimately, Kurt, in the final minute, in the final seconds here?
Julius Randle will be gone at the end of the year, and Tim Conway will go out and try to find another 5 who can space the floor a little bit. There's not another Towns out there, but there are better fits than Randle.
That is Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Check out his work there. Always appreciate it, my man. Book some more hotel rooms. Pre-book some more, and we'll talk to you next week.
Don't forget Memphis.
We're coming back. All right, we take it to segment 5 on this Wednesday edition of the show. Odds and Ends wraps it up in 10 minutes. At the top of the show, we played Dan Hurley losing his mind. And we talked about it. And the media asking him a question and him firing back, saying, not firing back in an angry way, but saying, hey, why do they always take video of me? Why are they always shooting, video of me on the sidelines? And they're not showing the other coach and blah, 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 blah. And it's part of this continuing adversarial relationship we see between media and athletes, and in some cases coaches, as well. And that is something to consider. Vladimir Louissaint, who hangs with us on the show on Wednesdays. Athletes, and in some cases coaches, although it's a lot harder for coaches, sort of pulling away from the media. And we see it more and more. And I remember when this is a true story, when I was doing NBC Sports Radio, and you were my producer in overnights all those years ago. God, hard to believe it's a decade ago. But we're old, man. We getting old.
I just turned 47 2 days ago.
Oh, it was your birthday 2 days ago, and I didn't know it? Happy birthday.
Yeah,
I feel terrible now. How did I miss it?
I expect a gift.
You know what? I will get you something. I don't know how good it'll be, but I will get you something. Happy. 47, you're same age as me, too. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was your birthday 2 days ago. I feel terrible now. Wow. On like television and everything. I feel like the worst human being in the world.
Buddy, don't worry.
Oh, I feel bad.
My birthday, I hated it for 3 years, but there's 1 year that I always hated because it's always got to share a day because somebody's going into office.
Oh, inauguration day.
Or somebody's birthday is being celebrated
Martin Luther
day.
King Day. Yeah.
Oh, and it was the college football final. The first ever.
Oh my God! Yeah, you can't even have it. You get nothing.
I couldn't. Yeah, there was nothing.
Nobody cares about your birthday. Your born day.
The media and players, man.
Yeah.
Adversarial relationship that is.
Yeah. Well, look, we didn't talk about it when we had Patrick McEnroe on the show earlier this week because we had such limited time with him from Melbourne. But it's one of the things that was big news this week is what happened with News 9 or Channel 9 in Australia. Tony Jones, one of their commentators, was at the Australian Open. A bunch of Novak Djokovic fans from Serbia were behind him, and he made this comment.
Back to Melbourne Park where you can see the Novak Djokovic fans there in full voice. Yeah, the chants are quite extraordinary. Novak, he's overrated. Novak's a has-been. Novak, kick him out. Boy, I'm glad they can't hear me. Anyway, let's get on to the tennis and world number.
Like what? Like what are we doing here? I mean, I want to know when the media stopped being the media and decided, look, if you're going to be a reporter, be a reporter. I've had this conversation for years, and it goes into the Stephen A. Smith thing that I've talked about a lot, where either you're a journalist and you're unbiased and you're objective, or you want to be the opinion guy. You can't be both. And we see it in media more and more these days. And it's why you continue to get this bigger and bigger adversarial relationship between the media and athletes, because athletes don't know who they're talking to anymore. Am I talking to a journalist who's going to take my quote, put it in an article, put it on TV, on radio, wherever, on a podcast? Or am I talking to somebody who's then going to turn around and go and badmouth me and trash me? And I can't pinpoint exactly when this shift started to happen, but I do remember, and I was going to bring this up at the top when I said, I was talking about a decade ago and how old we are. I remember when Derek Jeter retired and launched the Players Tribune. That was the start of it. That was the beginning of athletes trying to reclaim their narrative and saying, wait, I don't have to go talk to a media guy anymore. If I want to retire or make a statement, I'll write it on the Players Tribune. And now there's all these avenues because athletes have podcasts, Draymond Green, former athletes, the Kelsey brothers, all of this. Athletes are going to get to a point where they're just going to give yes and no answers and say, if fans want to hear about it, they can watch my podcast or listen to my podcast. Simple as that, Vlad, because if media guys are going to act like jerks like Tony Jones did, and even Ben Shelton, who won his match last night to advance to his first Grand Slam semifinal, congratulations to the 22-year-old American who will face Yannick Sinner in the next round and surely lose. I hope he doesn't. I'd love to see him win, but Sinner's going to be a prohibitive favorite there. If you're looking for value, it might be on Ben Shelton. I'm going to look that up while Vlad pontificates here about what I'm saying. Go ahead, Vlad.
Athletes don't care about the media anymore because a lot of times they've been hurt or their words have not been expressed or relayed the way, or their message has not been relayed the way they wanted it to be relayed. I believe what you said about Derek Jeter and the Players Tribune, followed by LeBron James, and it's uninterrupted, where the players know that they have the access, they have the followers, the social media. It has generated so many followers and revenue that they don't have to go to the reporter anymore to get their word out or their message out or explain themselves. They can go to a fellow player who may know exactly what they're going through or their current situation with team, organization, contract, that myself or other media members may not know. And gap is a thing. You may not, the kids now, these current generation athletes, they don't really resonate with some of the older reporters and media members now.
By the way, Ben Shelton, Yannick Sinner's going off at minus 1450 for that semifinal match. You can get Ben Shelton at 8-1, plus 810.
Not bad.
I might have to jump on that. We're coming back. All right, just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Wednesday. Sam returns tomorrow. All sorts of fun and frivolity. Don't forget SportsWrap with Jason Page, the podcast version of the show, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn. Where else? Amazon, you name it. We're on all of them. Go and check that out today. All right, without any further delay on this Wednesday, it's time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends presented by our friends at Edge Boost. I'm all about trying to find ways to take my sports betting game to the next level, and you should be too. How do you do that? Our friends at Edge Boost can help you. I'm pumped to tell you all about it. The financial platform that pays you cash back just to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account. It pays you for every single deposit. With the Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. Free money in your pocket just for doing what you're already doing. It's a no-brainer. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with a $250,000 daily limit, and it'll never be declined for gambling activity. You heard me right. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. So stop leaving money on the table. Go to edgeboost.bet to learn more and sign up today. edgeboost.bet. I signed up for it last week. You can do it in under 3 minutes. It's easy. Go and do it now. Just click the QR code right there. You see that? Click on that. You're all set to go. You'll be happy you did it. All right, Vladimir Louissaint. Odds and ends. Kevin O'Connell gets an extension. A lot of this is going to be NFL related. Kevin O'Connell gets a contract extension in Minnesota. Well-deserved. He was able to turn Sam Darnold into the next coming until we found out that Sam Darnold is not the next coming, and now he'll try to do the same with J.J. McCarthy.
Good for him. I think he's one of the best young coaches in the NFL. He's a great creative offensive mind, a guy that can help the old, like he did with Kirk Cousins, and still help Kirk get another contract where he fleeced another team. And resurrected Sam's career, because I think the time Sam spent with in San Francisco helped, but what he did this past season obviously got his pockets a little thicker because he's going to get paid this year. And we'll see what he does with the rookie. I want to see what this Viking staff does, because they didn't get rated like the Lions staff did. I thought they were going to get rated. They didn't. So we'll see what happens. But Kevin O'Connell is one of the best young coaches in the NFL.
What is once old is new again. Josh McDaniels headed back to the New England Patriots. Offensive coordinator.
Three times a lady.
Wow.
That's 3 times. No, well, that's, if you watch the best of Saturday Night Live, Eddie Murphy, you'll get that reference. But 3 times a lady? Come on now.
3 times an offensive coordinator. Hey, you know what, Mike Vrabel? Let's get the band back together. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with the hire. I don't think a lot of people would disagree about him being a good offensive coordinator, so I don't have a problem with that.
Listen, what he did with Brady in New England was great. They're very happy what they have with Drake May. We'll see what he can do with that with that quarterback, but they need weapons. They need to put weapons around Drake May for that team to go.
Yes, they certainly do. One more. Khalil Mack. Not retire. When I saw a Khalil Mack headline cross my screen today, I thought it was going to be that Khalil Mack was announcing his retirement, but he's not.
I don't. All right. Let's see headlines that has return of the Mack. I don't want to see that. Okay, don't. Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Question I'm asking right now, because I feel like he was NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's with the Raiders.
All-time great pass rusher, without question.
Great pass rusher, but has never won in the postseason. It'd be very interesting to what team, if the Chargers want him back, or if he goes to another team.
There is one more. There is another. Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohen has decided to take his name out of the running for the Jaguars head coaching job. He's going to stay in Tampa, gets a new contract that'll now make him one of the highest paid coordinators in the NFL. Adam Schefter reporting that on Wednesday morning. So the Jags still looking for somebody to coach their team.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the Khan family. Why does it seem like nobody wants to work for Shad or his son Tony at AEW? That's crazy. You have to understand. 32 of these things. 32 of these positions. And for you to take your name out of the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's something more about the Jaguars than it does about Liam. But congratulations, you got more money and you're in a better situation, and that offense under Baker Mayfield has improved over the last 2 years.
It also makes you wonder what openings he's thinking about maybe available next year. Because there's a lot of a lot of people thought that Jaguars job was one of the more marquee jobs because Trevor Lawrence is attached to it.
You know what?
I don't know
what's going on. Maybe there's a difference of opinion now on Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars.
We got to go. Thank you, Bob Nightengale. Thank you to you, Vladimir Louissaint. Thanks to Kurt Helin. We'll see you back here tomorrow.